Hello and welcome to Brewers Daily, part of the Fan Arch Podcast Network. I'm your host, Dave Gasper. Lots to get to here on a Tuesday show. We're going to get to the pitching matchup coming up here today. We're going to get to some of your comments as well, and also talk more about Garrett Mitchell and how his season has been going. But we have to start with the major story here. Willson Contreras is a big doofus. That much we have known for quite some time, but that trend has continued. Despite Contreras leaving the NL Central and joining the AL East with the Boston Red Sox over the offseason, he still hates the Brewers with a burning passion, and he still acts like a petulant child and a giant doofus every time that he faces them. It's just incredible when you get in there in this game and Contreras maybe gets grazed by a Brandon Woodruff pitch, which, first of all, Brandon Woodruff is not exactly throwing hard these days. Okay, Woodruff is not exactly intentionally trying to hit anybody. And if you were trying to intentionally hit Willson Contreras, Brandon Woodruff would not be the pitcher you would do that with. He barely, maybe, gets grazed on the hand where he had a hand protector, but upon replay review, it looked to me like it didn't even hit him. And if it did, it certainly didn't really cause any pain. The Brewers even challenged it, and there wasn't enough to overturn. I feel like whatever the call was on the field was going to stand no matter what. If they called no hit by pitch originally, that probably would have stood as well. I just didn't see, that whatever it was. But instantly, he throws a fit. He starts barking at Brandon Woodruff, starts screaming at him, despite the fact that his brother is the catcher, okay, and that his brother is not going to call for him to be intentionally hit by a pitch here, okay? But he's jawing at Brandon Woodruff. He's jawing at the umpire. I'm pretty sure he was jawing at Jake Bauers, just screaming and yelling at everyone and just throwing a hissy fit and acting like a big giant doofus, as he constantly does, because it's the Brewers. It's game one of the series. It was a third inning, and it didn't take long for him to start causing drama. It's utterly ridiculous. I mean, you are a grown man here, Willson Contreras. Like, what are we doing here? And the real annoying part about all of this is that the Brewers could not get any sort of delicious moment throughout the rest of this game because Contreras reached base all 5 times. Went 3 for 3 with a walk, a hit by pitch, quote unquote, including a home run in the 9th. It was 2 outs in the 9th. It's like, oh man, this is perfect. Angel Zerpa, who was on for his first career save, he can strike him out to end the game, and it just would have been so delicious. But no, instead he just hits a towering blast to left field over the monster. So you couldn't get that delicious moment against him. That was a frustrating part, but I suppose you can consider the delicious moment being the Brewers got the win. They improved to 8-2. The Red Sox fall to 2-8 on the regular season. So it's a very tough start for the Red Sox. Great start for the Milwaukee Brewers with how they've been doing. But if you thought that being moved to the AL East would have had Willson Contreras not act like a giant doofus anymore against the Brewers, you were wrong. He absolutely does continue to act like a giant doofus. Now, the Brewers are the team who have hit him the most among any other team. I think they showed it on the broadcast. The Brewers have hit him 24 times with pitches over the years. The next closest team has 14. But also, he has spent, up until now, the entirety of his career with the Cubs and Cardinals. He has been in the NL Central. He is facing the Brewers the most of any other team. And he also stands on top of the plate. What do you expect, dude? Seriously. But whatever. It's Willson Contreras. I feel like if his brother wasn't on the team, if William wasn't on the team, there would be a lot more going back and forth with that dude. It's ridiculous, and it happens every single year. And I'm frankly sick of it. There needs to be some sort of change. There needs to be, I don't know if we're going to add technical fouls, add a penalty box like in hockey, something. There's just got to be some sort of repercussion here for this dude because he is always starting something against the Brewers. The Brewers are not intentionally starting anything with him. He always just wants to jaw back at the Brewers and start stuff. And then sure enough, it started a massive Brewers rally that next half inning, where the Brewers ended up taking the lead without getting a ball to leave the infield. They were down 3-0, and all of a sudden he starts jawing, and then the Brewers start Brewersing again, and they scored 4 runs without getting a ball out of the infield, including an error by old friend Caleb Durbin, another play that he wasn't able to handle, some infield hits, including one from Garrett Mitchell. He got an infield hit there, just kind of being able to hit it up the line, but then came up with a big hit later on in the game to plate 2 runs. You had 2 runners on. He hits a single to left field. Just a beautiful piece of hitting. Bryce Terang getting waved around third to come home to score. And the throw from Roman Anthony just completely sailed. I'm not sure where he was throwing it to. I'm pretty sure he threw that ball to Wooster. I mean, it was just horrendous of a throw. Goes all the way to the backstop. Christian Yelich reads it perfectly, takes off for home, coming around third as well, and is able to just sneak his hand in there to make it a 2-run single for Mitchell, who advanced on the throw home, going to second, and then advanced again on the air on the throw home and the plate, heading to third. So it was just fantastic. Garrett Mitchell, we talked about it on yesterday's show. Pat Murphy doing kind of his mea culpa. It's like, hey, look, I didn't believe in him, but he's done really well. Garrett Mitchell up to 13 RBIs on the season. I mean, just looking at his numbers here, what he's put up, it is absolutely ridiculous what he's done through these first handful of games. 9 for 27, 13 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, 975 OPS. I mean, it is just phenomenal what he's been doing. To be able to put this kind of stretch together, a couple hits. He did have 3 strikeouts in this game, so when he didn't get the base hits, he was striking out. So that is kind of concerning for the long term here for Garrett Mitchell, the number of strikeouts that he's had. But, you look at his early season baseball savant page, right? And just kind of the numbers and the percentiles for where these players are, across the league. And Garrett Mitchell is up there in some big time stats. I mean, just looking at his hard hit rate, his hard hit rate 96th percentile, average exit velo 100th percentile. Okay, 98.4 miles an hour. He is atop the league in average exit velocity. So when he does hit the ball, he hits it hard. 99th percentile in sweet spot percentage. 93rd percentile in bat speed. That is something that can remain consistent throughout the season. But just his ex-WOBA, if you love that stat, 90th percentile. 92nd in X-slugging. So just some really, really great numbers there. Also 3rd percentile whiff percentage, 7th percentile strikeout rate. So that is kind of, the balancing act there, a little bit concerning for the long-term sustainability of this, but still, just on such a hot stretch to start the season, that can give him some confidence, and hopefully he continues to work on that, the making contact and just being able to avoid that high whiff rate throughout the season. Continue to make those adjustments because he needs that time. He needs that time to be able to develop because he can be so good. And the Brewers front office has been adamant that he can be that good. And he just needs the ability to go out there and do it, to get the reps and do it. And he's showing it so far through these first 10 games of the regular season. So you absolutely do love to see that here for Garrett Mitchell. And it helped lead the Brewers yet again to another win here to start the season as they improve to 8-2. And they're going to look to improve to 9-2 with a electric pitching matchup coming up today. Jacob Misiorowski versus Garrett Crochet. 2 of the top arms. I mean, these are going to be your most electric arms for each of these teams. Misiorowski, obviously we know what he can do, 100 plus mile an hour on the fastball. Garrett Crochet, same thing. 100 plus mile an hour on the fastball. Some electric secondary stuff. This is going to be a absolute banger of a game with these 2 pitchers. The weather, it sounds like, is going to suck. Going to be pretty cold in the 40s or so, maybe even into the 30s out there because you're playing in early April in Boston. So that's just kind of how it's going to go. The weather's not going to be ideal. But still, it is going to be an electric pitching matchup that you have here. Two aces, two bona fide studs in the starting rotation that are going to be going after it. So we saw quite a bit of offense, and part of it was, it wasn't exactly super high level offense. I mean, it was a lot of infield singles and just kind of little flares that were able to get their way in for this game on Monday night. But for today, that offense may be a bit more difficult to come by for these teams. So, but either way, it is going to be a lot of fun, and I certainly am excited to see it happen. All right. So to wrap things up here, I want to just kind of, take a look at maybe highlights, some of the comments here from the comment section. So always love hearing from you guys in the comment section. Appreciate all of you, hopping in there every single day. All of you subscribers, we've gotten up to 1,000. Appreciate every single one of you for that. So just want to, be able to shout out to some of you guys here in the comment section. So just kind of looking through, looking back to Friday's show. Got Charles Darwin 180 here with a reliever with a ERA of 0 can mean absolutely nothing. The elephant in the room is Jared Koenig. Koenig got rocked. Koenig's not fooling anyone. Does anyone think this looks fixable? This is not the Jared Koenig of the past 2 years, and I'm pretty sure Pat Murphy knows this. Indeed he does, and indeed the Brewers do, as they got him checked out here, and on Monday the Brewers announced that Jared Koenig was going on the IL with an elbow sprain, a UCL sprain, so that is kind of concerning here for the health for Jared Koenig. Now, again, I mean, he put this in before Koenig's injury diagnosis, but that is something that was concerning. The velo drop for Koenig, the drop in weight, his performance was down a bit in spring training, wasn't looking as good. Then you get to the regular season, still not really looking as good, and it turns out he has a UCL sprain. The Brewers are hoping to just go with rehab and avoid anything, more, intrusive, I guess would be the word, trying to avoid surgery or anything like that. So they're going to hope for rehab for now, give him a couple of weeks, see how his elbow feels, and see if the rehab helps get it better. But certainly can be a big loss there for that Brewers bullpen, not having Jared Koenig, because he certainly was not at full strength. I mean, we all could see that with him going on the IL. Shane Drowan was recalled from AAA, so once he gets into a game here, he will be making his Major League debut. Also, we got Greg E5J saying it's time to give up on the Ortiz and Lockridge Perkins projects. Enough is enough. I think it's still early in the season to give up on those guys. And, I mean, Lockridge really isn't even doing bad either. Just kind of looking at his numbers, he's actually been, I believe, fairly solid for this group. Lockridge hitting .348 with an .814 OPS through 23 at bat. So I disagree on it being time to give up on Lockridge. Perkins has certainly struggled offensively. He did have the double the other day. Ortiz, he certainly had his moments. And we have seen quite a bit of David Hamilton at shortstop so far this season. He's gotten a handful of starts at short this year. So, perhaps they are kind of looking at moving away from Joey Ortiz a little bit. But Lockridge, I think you can still give a little bit more time to when he's hitting .348 that they've been having. So, yeah. All right. Looking through here, we got Karen Hardy 1132. Brewers need Priester back in the rotation. Absolutely. I think they would absolutely love to have Priester back in this group. In order for them to reach their full potential, they need to have him back. The weak spot in the rotation currently, clearly, is Brandon Sproat. I think Sproat will end up figuring it out. But if Priester were able to come back right now, per se, he's not ready for that yet. He is currently out in Arizona throwing his live bullpens and working on building his way back up. But if he were ready right now, Sproat would be the spot that he would take. Real Terraria for life. commented, I believe Sproat should be switched with Gasser if he doesn't pick it up next start. And I think that's certainly a possibility. You give a guy 3 starts. They did it to Carlos Rodriguez a year or two ago. Didn't go as well, so then they moved on. So 3 starts, I think that can be, it's like, okay, now we really got to be able to figure some things out, because the first 2 outings did not go very well for Brandon Sproat. So if he struggles again and Gasser's there and he's ready, I think you might have to do it. And then we also got a guy, Steve Groth here in 2024. Murph benched Mitchell for Game 3 against the Mets, even as he hit the big homer in Game 2. He sees him as nothing more than half of a platoon. It's just odd. This guy has all the talent in the world. Play him every day. Look, I'm with you on the Garrett Mitchell hype here. Okay, I've got all my Garrett Mitchell stock. I bought up a bunch of it way back in the day. I have not sold my Garrett Mitchell stock. I've been a believer in him this whole time. I know he can be so good. And I'm glad there are others out there who believe in him as well. I understand where Murph is kind of coming from with the struggles against lefties. There are those potential holes in his swings, and for that Game 3 in 2024 you're talking about, that was Jose Quintana, the lefty, on the mound for that Game 3. So I understand where he was coming from in that moment. I understand the desire to put him in there because he came through with that big home run in the game before. But it is going to be on Mitchell, I think, to prove that he's ready for that in order to come through it in more of those moments and earn more of those opportunities. Because, you look at Bryce Terang, you look at Sal Frelick, 2 other lefties. Pat Murphy started trusting them and giving them more and more opportunities against the left-handed pitchers, and they were able to develop that success against them. I think Mitchell can do that, but it is going to take some time. He's going to have to prove he has enough success against righties as well, and also just prove that he can play every single day. As much as I love, it's like, yes, put him in there against lefties, righties, whoever, we have seen him stick with Mitchell against lefty relievers. We haven't seen him pinch hit for Mitchell a ton when a lefty's on the mound for the opposing team. So he has gotten some of those at-bats in there as well. So I do like that aspect of it from Pat Murphy. But in terms of playing him every single day, he has got to be healthy enough to play every single day. That's just been the struggle for him. So as long as he remains healthy, whatever they got to do to keep him off the IL and just keep him playing throughout the year, I think that's the most important part. If you get through a fully healthy season, I think then you can work on maybe implementing more of getting the starts against left-handed starters in there. But for the time being, he is getting them against left-handed relievers. So he is getting a few of those opportunities, but I do get your point. I do understand where you're coming from there. But it's still early in the season. We're only 10 games in. We got 152 more of these things to go. And we'll be with you every single step of the way. So be sure to subscribe to Brewers Daily. Get notified every single time a new episode drops. Follow me on Twitter at dgasper24. Tons of great Brewers content going up there all the time. Appreciate you watching, appreciate you enjoying, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.